Welcome to Live Interactive English. I'm Matt.
And I'm Nina.
And today we're looking at an article called What Do Animals Use Their Tails For Anyway?
Yes, and this is part one. You know, which reminds me, I've always wondered about animals' tails when I was younger, but now I have a cat, right? So last weekend I had a little dinner gathering and I had friends come over. And usually my cat is really good with other people, including myself, but I think there was too much going on and too many people. So he got a little bit defensive and, on edge. So I was warning my friends, maybe it's not a good idea to pet him at that moment because I noticed that his tail was moving in a certain way.
Okay.
Yeah, and when he does that, he's usually more trying to protect himself or he's ready to hunt something.
Okay, so maybe he's giving you a bit of a warning by moving his tail that you shouldn't get too close and give the cat some space.
Yeah.
Okay, and what does the tail move differently when the cat's happy or in a good mood?
I don't think that really applies for cats when they're happy. I don't think they do that, but when they're scared, I think their tails come all the way up and maybe their fur, gets a certain way. But if he's ready to hunt, he moves it like that, or if he's bothered, it's maybe just the tip of it. I don't know, I'm not a cat tail expert, but I think it's really interesting.
So the cat can tell you some things using their tail.
Yeah.
And kind of talking to you with their tail.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Well, that's one interesting way that I guess an animal can use their tail.
Yeah.
And I guess we'll find out some more when we get into today's articles after this.
All right.
Animals' tails come in all shapes and sizes. The reasons why animals have tails are as different as the tails themselves. Let's explore the 6 most common uses for animals' tails. Balance. Some animals use their tails for balance. From cats to kangaroos, many animals need to use the weight of their tails to help them stay upright. This is especially useful when the animal needs to run over bumpy land or jump from place to place. Defense. Other animals use their tails to protect themselves. For example, some snakes use the sound of their tails to warn other animals to stay away. An iguana uses a different strategy. If another animal bites its tail, the tail will fall off and the iguana can escape.
Welcome back, everyone. Let's get into our article today, part 1 of What Do Animals Use Their Tails For Anyway?
All right, so let's learn about it. Animals' tails come in all shapes and sizes. The reasons why animals have tails are as different as the tails themselves. Okay, that would make sense, cats and dogs have different lengths of tails or even birds and other animals, so they probably have different uses for it, right?
Right, or a beaver has a big flat tail, big flat wide tail.
Yeah.
Some animals have a long tail. Some animals can hold things with their tails.
That's so cool.
All sorts of tails.
Let's explore the 6 most common uses for animals' tails.
Ooh,
okay.
Interesting.
I'm excited.
All right.
So explore. Explore is a verb and it means to search and discover about something. So especially by investigating thoroughly.
Okay. So we investigate about these tails.
Yeah, so for example, we explored the forest and saw many kinds of plants. Yeah, or if someone likes exploring, you can also say that they are an explorer, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so our first use for tails is balance.
So that makes sense.
Yeah, so balance means keeping the weight on either side of something equal so that it has a steady or stable standing. So for an animal, it means so that they don't fall over.
Yeah, I think that definitely would help cats in some ways, right?
That's right? Some animals use their tails for balance. From cats to kangaroos, Many animals need to use the weight of their tails to help them stay upright.
Oh, yeah, kangaroos do use their tails to stay up,
so
right?
Kangaroos also stand on 2 feet, so they need to make sure they don't fall forward or backward when they're hopping around.
Okay, so continuing, this is especially useful when the animal needs to run over bumpy land or jump from place to place. Yeah. Okay.
So kangaroos jumping from place to place, they need to, especially on bumpy ground where it's not flat and smooth, where it has some ups and downs, they need to make sure they can keep their balance.
Makes sense.
Okay. So the second use for tails is defense. Now, defense means resisting against attack. So protecting themselves from attacks. Other animals use their tails to protect themselves. For example, some snakes use the sound of their tails to warn other animals to stay away.
Oh, yes, like a rattlesnake,
A rattlesnake
right?
has a ch-ch-ch-ch, and you know that means stay away.
Okay, an iguana uses a different strategy. If another animal bites its tail, the tail will fall off, and the iguana can escape.
Oh, that's interesting. So it will lose its tail. And
it grows back, right?
That's right. So an iguana can actually grow back its tail, I think, once it's lost it. So.
Yeah, that's like lizards, right?
Lots of, quite a few lizards have that same strategy.
Okay.
So strategy is our next vocabulary word, and it's a noun, and it means a plan or a set of plans to achieve something, usually over time. So in this case, it's not the lizard didn't make the plan to lose its tail or the strategy, but it has that way to survive and way to defend itself, which is by losing its tail. So for example, our strategy for winning the game is to work together as a team. So that is their plan, their method, the way that they are going to achieve their goal of, winning is to work together.
Sounds like a good strategy.
So those are some interesting uses for tails that we've already learned. We learned balance, so to keep you upright, and defense, to protect yourself from danger.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm sure there's more than those two, right?
We said, I think there are the 6 most common uses?
Yes, right, 6. So we will learn more about them after the break.
Okay.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Hinoki。动物的尾巴有各种形状、大小，用途各不相同。我们这2天的课程就要来探究动物尾巴6种最常见的用途。我们先看看单字 explore 这个动词表示探讨、研究或是探测，在什么什么探险。那后面加上一个 r 变成 explorer， 就可以表达探险家或是探勘者。好，那我们就来看看第一种动物尾巴的用途，就是balance 平衡，像猫啊、袋鼠还有许多其他动物都需要用尾巴的重量来帮助它们保持直立，尤其是当它们需要跑过那种崎岖不平的土地啊，或是从一个地方跳到另外一个地方时，特别有用。而第二个用途则是 defense 防卫，用尾巴来保护自己。像有些蛇呢，会利用尾巴发出声音来警告其他动物要远离。而绿鬣蜥它们所用的策略就是不同的。如果有别的动物咬住它的尾巴，它的尾巴就会脱落，那这样绿鬣蜥它就可以逃脱了。好，我们来看看单字 strategy， 就是策略、战略。文中的 iguana 则是绿鬣蜥。老师们刚刚也有提到 lizard 是蜥蜴。Rattlesnake 则是响尾蛇。好，这边2个重点，我们进入文法时间。好，我们来看第一个重点是 as 形容词 as 或者是 as 副词 as 点点点，可以表达说和什么一样怎么样。这个是形容词或副词的原级比较句型。那么前后比较的对象动词相同的话，后面那个动词可以省略，或者是呢可以用 be 动词或助动词代替。我们来看2个例句哦。第一句是 Josh is as tall as his brother， 或是 as tall as his brother is。Josh 和他的哥哥一样高。I don't drink coffee as often as Tim， 或是 as often as Tim does。我不像 Tim 一样常喝咖啡。 第二重点是 if 引导条件句的用法。if 引导条件副词子句时，可以表达现在啊，或是未来可能发生的情况。那么子句是用直说法表示。我们在指未来情况的时候 ，if 子句的动词要用现在式代替未来式，所以常见的句型就是 if 主词加动词，逗号主词加上 will、can 或是 may， 再加原形动词。例如 ，If it rains tomorrow, we will go to the movies instead. 如果明天下雨，我们将会改去看电影。所以我们看到 if 后面是接 it rains， 而不是 it will rain。好，接回到课文中。
Movement. Tails can also be used by animals to help them move. Fish are obvious examples of this because they use their tails to swim through water. Monkeys use their tails for movement too. Besides their arms and feet, they also use their tails to swing from tree to tree in the jungle.
All right, welcome back. So now we're going to get back into the uses of an animal's tail, and now we're talking about movement. So movement is the act of moving, like getting from one place to another. Tails can also be used by animals to help them move. Fish are obvious examples of this because they use their tails to swim through water. That's so true. You have a tail.
Fish and many other sea creatures like dolphins or whales use their tails in different ways to, I think dolphins and whales go like this.
Yeah.
Fish go like this.
Yeah.
It helps them get through the water.
Yes. Okay, so obvious. An obvious use. So it's an adjective and it means easy to see, recognize, or understand. For example, it's obvious that Randy is not good at math. Maybe he makes a lot of very basic mistakes, right? Okay.
So monkeys use their tails for movement too. Besides their arms and feet, they also use their tails to swing from tree to tree in the jungle.
Oh, just like when you see in movies and cartoons, the monkeys just swinging around, getting places, right?
That's right. So have you ever seen a monkey swing from tree to tree in Taiwan?
That's actually a good question because I don't think I've ever seen a monkey do that in person. Like in Taiwan, I've seen monkeys before, but never seen them swing from tree to tree with their tails.
Right, or hanging from their tails. So I actually learned that most monkeys that can actually swing from tree to tree using their tail or hang from a tree using their tail live in South America. So those are New World monkeys. So not from Asia or Europe or Africa, but in South or Central America mostly, have this thing called a prehensile tail.
Okay.
And that means it's a tail that they can use like a finger because it can hold on to things and it can wrap around and they can hang and swing from their tails.
Wow, that is very cool to know. Now I know. And that must mean that their tails are very strong, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow, okay.
Okay, so we had another vocabulary word in there, which is a preposition, and it's besides. Besides means in addition to or apart from. So for example, besides baseball, she also enjoys playing soccer.
Okay, so she likes both.
That's right. So, and they also said besides using their hands and feet, monkeys can also use their tail. So in addition to, apart from just their hands and feet, they can also use their tails.
Yes. And another vocabulary word is jungle. And jungle is a thick tropical forest with many large plants and trees. So you'll find a lot of wild animals in the jungle. Yes.
Also monkeys.
Yes. For example, the jungle is full of tall trees and dangerous animals.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
That's right. They say the king of the jungle is the lion, but they don't usually actually live in the jungle.
Yeah, they don't.
But they are known as the king of the jungle, although I think they live on the savanna, as it's called, the sort of desert in Africa. So lots of interesting uses for tails that we've learned so far. So now we've learned 3 uses, so that means we still have 3 more uses of tails to learn when we get to part 2 next time.
Yes, so we will tell you about it next time.
All right, see you then.
Bye.
好，那我们来看看第3种动物尾巴的用途是 movement， 移动。尾巴可以帮助动物移动，像鱼类就是明显的例子，它们用尾巴在水中游动。那么猴子也有使用尾巴来移动哦。除了手脚之外，它们也会用到尾巴从丛林中的一棵树荡到另一棵树上。Matt 老师刚刚有提到说，有一些猴子具有卷蝉尾 ，a prehensile tail。这个 prehensile 或是念作 prehensile，P-R-E-H-E-N-S-I-L-E， 它是形容卷蝉的，能抓握的。就像我们看到那种大象，它们鼻子不是也可以这样卷起来，把东西握住嘛，就可以用这个形容词来形容。再看到单字 obvious， 它是形容明显的、显而易见的。那么 besides， 它是当介系词，表示除了什么什么之外，注意后面是要接名词或动名词哦。那么 jungle 则是热带丛林。老师们聊到说，狮子被称为丛林之王，可是其实狮子的栖息地往往是在 Savannah，S-A-V-A-N-N-A，Savannah 就是疏林草原或是稀树草原。那它有另外一个拼法是在后面加上一个 H， 也是念作 Savannah。好，那么以上是今天的讲解，同学别走开，马上回来哦。
Animals' tails come in all shapes and sizes. The reasons why animals have tails are as different as the tails themselves. Let's explore the 6 most common uses for animals' tails. Balance. Some animals use their tails for balance. From cats to kangaroos, many animals need to use the weight of their tails to help them stay upright. This is especially useful when the animal needs to run over bumpy land or jump from place to place. Defense. Other animals use their tails to protect themselves. For example, some snakes use the sound of their tails to warn other animals to stay away. An iguana uses a different strategy. If another animal bites its tail, the tail will fall off and the iguana can escape. Movement. Tails can also be used by animals to help them move. Fish are obvious examples of this because they use their tails to swim through water. Monkeys use their tails for movement too. Besides their arms and feet, they also use their tails to swing from tree to tree in the jungle.
Today we're going to take you to Hinoki Village in Chiayi. It's a popular attraction near the North Gate Station in Chiayi. It's the first forestry village in Taiwan as well. Right now you can find markets for arts and crafts, lots of restaurants, and the Mori market. If you ever want to go to a Japanese-style environment or atmosphere, make sure you visit Hinoki Village. Let's learn more.
Hinoki Village is a popular attraction near North Gate Station in Chiayi City. It not only keeps the historic buildings and culture, but also promotes the local assets and education. During the Japanese colonial period, this place was dormitories for loggers, lumber industry managers, and dependents. Because most of the houses were built with cypress wood, it was called Hinokicho. In Hinokicho, there was also a public bathhouse and a hostel. Hinokicho went through renovations after it had been situated here for over 60 years. After a 4-year renovation, Hinokicho was revived and had a new name, Hinoki Village. This place not only is the first forestry village in Taiwan, but also has the largest, most well-preserved group of Japanese-style dormitories. The Chiayi city government listed the dormitories as a historic building in 2005. In Hinoki Village, there are many Japanese-style wooden buildings. Now the village includes a market for arts and crafts, restaurants, and the Mori market. You can visit the exhibition hall, rent yukata, and try some tasty snacks. When walking in Hinoki Village, you can learn about how prosperous Taiwan's forestry used to be and experience the Japanese-style atmosphere.
I hope you guys enjoy learning about the Hinoki Village. So if next time you don't have time to travel abroad, but you want to experience the Japanese environment and atmosphere, make sure you pay a visit to Hinoki Village. And this is all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.